All right, test, test, test. Let's try this again. You know, this is really. I hope everybody knows what I'm going through. Oh, they're gonna get to see it. Or no, I haven't started recording yet, so
Am I just gonna start when you start?
this is gonna be in the dark for you guys, folks. At the beginning, you're on your own. I don't mean to scare you, but you're gonna get video in a second. So just you know, try to be a little bit patient, huh?
Everything bothers him.
He's unbothered.
He calls it unbothered, but that's what's cute because everything bothers him. He's bothered. I'm a botherina.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Unbothered by Ty Rivera. That's right, it's Unbothered by Ty Rivera. In case anybody is wondering, my co-host Snoopy Bijou is not having a Whimzees Alligator right now. Earlier today, Chris Doran mentioned the word alligator, so I had to give this bitch a fucking alligator because I felt bad because she starts dancing around when she hears the word. So really, it was Chris Doran's fault. She'd be having one now if I hadn't felt bad. And I was like, and yeah, I'm smoking a cigarette in my fucking apartment, all right? I pay the rent here. Every once in a while, I want to smoke a cigarette. And if you want to know the truth, Bijou doesn't mind a cigarette every once in a while, her damn self. So before anybody comes at me or threatening to call CPS, Bijou is 7.5 years old, which I believe is over 49 years old. Bijou is a grown woman. If she wants to have a cigarette instead of a fucking alligator, then how about you cut her some fucking slack? Anyway, this is Ty Rivera, absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. I just want to hit that one more time because I want to see if hopefully my hair isn't nappy like it was last time. Anyway, guys, here's the deal. For those of you who are true botherinas and know what the deal is, Unbothered originally started because people would talk shit or I'd get in some kind of situation and people would say things about me and then I would have to either get shit on or try to correct those perceptions person to person, and I didn't feel like that was the best way to spend my time, so I just created Unbothered and was like, I'll just talk about whatever's bothering me until it doesn't bother me anymore, and then that's why it's called Unbothered by Ty Rivera. And every once in a while I want to have a friend on to do this with me, and this friend is absolutely perfect for that. But I should tell you before I have a conversation, because I don't mind how our conversation goes. I don't expect it to be a recreation of what we already did because we recorded an Unbothered. And I've been telling you guys that we had an Unbothered. And it turned out that was the corrupted file I had. And the file that was supposed to be shot in the dark last week that I made myself fucking slap happy trying to record the second time and then recorded it the morning. So recorded it 3 times was what happened with that. Turns out that's the file that I do have. So I went ahead and decided to, and this is also, see, this was a bigger deal anyway that I'm having this person on with this one because this is my first video version of Unbothered where I have a guest, because I haven't done one that's actually been, I tried to do one with Jordan. Yeah, this is officially the first video. So this is a great person to have on and a great person for us to get unbothered with, or for us to witness the unbothering of, or whatever ends up happening happens. And let me check my notes. All right, we're doing all right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the person that I'm bringing on right now, I consider him a good friend. He's a newer comic. I think you said you're 2 years. Yeah, so 2 years he's been doing stand-up, and his name is Anthony Victorson. Why do I always fuck your name up when I have to do the fucking podcast? It's not even a hard name, you guys. That's the worst part about this. It's Anthony Victorson is his name.
Just very unknown.
Even to me. I had you on Unbothered, and apparently I don't know you. We're not friends. But, all right. So, Anthony Victorson, you want to tell the botherinos a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so thank you for having me on, Ty. I am, like Ty said, a new comedian in Las Vegas, Nevada, and me and Ty met probably right when I started comedy and right when he came out to Vegas, and we become friends over that period of time, and that's
Yeah,
pretty
and
much it.
so whatever questions you answer, you answer. Whatever ones you don't, you don't. Um, do you tell your age?
Yeah, but I'm starting to learn from you that maybe I shouldn't. I don't know why. I think that as I get older, I feel less relatable.
You know what? For me, it's not about feeling older. I'm fine with my age. The thing for me is I hate that people assign any kind of value to that at all. You know, there's people that are going to think you're smarter than them because you're older. You must be wiser. No, I could be dumber than you. How about we just figure that out by getting to know each other instead of slapping, like.
I guess I feel self-conscious about getting older, so I don't want people to know my age.
You should not. Getting older is a good thing.
But also, I don't want to sound conceited or something, but people think I'm always younger than I actually am. So when I tell them my age, it's always like, "Oh, why are you hanging out with the younger people?" That's how I feel.
I can't believe people even care about that. As long as everybody's over 18, I don't know what that's a your generation thing.
That's probably a me thing, but
Yeah, you shouldn't worry about that.
yeah, it's when I'll just say I'm over 30. So once I turn 30, I'm not well over 30. I just turned 30, but
You're over 30?
I am over 30. So
Yeah.
I felt the
What's it like? What's it like? Is it exciting?
to be this new in comedy and to be an elder, it's just I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't worry about that. Like, from that perspective, I wouldn't worry about it at all, to tell you the truth. Like, I wouldn't, worry about that. Like, the thing for me with stand-up when it comes to age and stuff like that is also, I don't mention my age when I'm in my actual sets, because I do like the audience, because, like, from far away and from, the way the lights are and stuff like that, a lot of people think I'm younger than I am.
Yeah.
So I like them projecting that onto me, because then sometimes when I'm actually saying something, they think I'm just being silly and take it that way. Or you know what I mean? Like, because they assume I'm younger, dumber, I must not know what I'm saying. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, it's its own thing. I mean, like, it's for me, it's there's definite reasons for it, but like age itself is not anything you should worry about.
I guess like you just said how you don't say it on stage. One time I did say, this is why I'm self-conscious about those things, because one time I did say, I go, I'm 2 years into stand-up, or 1 year into stand-up comedy, blah, blah, blah. And after I got off stage, a more experienced comic came up to me, and they're like, don't ever tell the audience how many years you've been doing comedy, because now they all don't respect you because you've only been doing it for a year. They thought you were doing good already. You didn't have to say that. And now they think that they're just laughing because you're a new comic or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to do that now. I'll tell people it's my first time on stage and everybody starts laughing. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, it's my first time on stage, you guys. And then they, we have a good time.
I guess it's a kind of a bitch move if you're a comedian to do that. Not for you.
No,
but
I know what
me.
you're saying. Yeah, it is kind of a bailout when you're like,
Yeah.
I've only been doing comedy. And it's like, oh, okay, well, let's clap.
Yeah, exactly. That's
like
why.
it is. But, I'll do that for people if I'm the host. If somebody's brand new, like new, that's their first time. Because I've dealt with that when I used to host an open mic.
Yeah, and I don't mind when if the host says something about it.
Yeah, and I'll be like, this is this person's first time up. You guys, it's not easy. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I will try to make it a good experience, because when you first go on stage, it can be traumatic. And so I like that way. I always think about me when I was a newer comic and what I would want people to do for me, because like that's when you can actually. What does bother me is, though, some of the people that I've been nice to and recommended for stuff and even got them work and, you know, like on some stuff, they turned on me later on because of SJW stuff. And it was like, I've helped you person to person, and nothing I've done has been any more horrific than a difference of opinion.
But they took your opinion online, you're saying, instead of how you acted in person.
And then they like, the thing is, even if they did, like, you know, like if you know me and you know that I've done stuff for you and I've been cool with you and I've been helpful with you and I've been supportive with you, and in some cases I've been protective of you, because with some of the other like trans comics, when they were first coming around, was I worried about anybody beating them up? No. But was I aware of the fact that they were vulnerable and they could end up in like a high school bully type situation? I was very much so. And so I would make sure that everybody knew this one particular trans person that really was stupid with me at a point. You know what I mean? Like, and even perpetuated that I was a transphobic person, transphobe, and that one guy liked one of my statuses and she sent him a private message. He sent me a screenshot. She sent him a private message where she said, "You liking Ty Rivera's post is tantamount to rape."
That's nice.
Yeah. And but like,
Well,
you know,
here's the thing, Ty, like I even yeah, I defend you too, Ty, because you know, people might have their opinions on how you know, post or whatever on social media, or if you get into an argument with this or that.
greatness is often misunderstood.
I think you're misunderstood in a lot of situations, because anytime I've been, you know, we've been in person, you know, you've been nothing but kind to me. You've always been kind to me in terms of comedy. And
Yeah, well, that's the way I felt when there was that whole situation with you. You know, like, that's really the way I felt about it. Because for anybody that doesn't know, Anthony had a situation, I think it was around Christmas time, and I think all of us were kind of stir crazy. That's when me and Bobby Wayne got into it. It was just Mercury in retrograde, maybe, or, you know, like, something was going on. But we were, well, Anthony got in an argument with another comedian. What happened was, I remember how it started now, or what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Randall Thompson and Tom Baum situation.
Yeah, like you said, we were just in retrograde. It wasn't even my post. It was just another post.
Yeah, and everybody had been cooped up. You know, if you remember, that was like...
there were like 4 to 5 different fights in that post.
Yeah, and we'd all been locked up for a long time, and nobody has, like, creative outlets, you know, and people are running low on meds or whatever fucking happens. Everybody's just fucked, you know, like, everybody. And so Anthony got in this argument with a guy that I'm friends with as well, that I've mentioned on the podcast, Michael Robertson. And what happened was, it started off where everybody's just talking shit because there was almost a fight. And then Mike Robertson had suggested, and this all happened on the comedy board for anybody. I'm talking like you guys know, but in a way you guys kind of know. I've mentioned the comedy group, and it all happened like on the comedy group. Their original post was about Randall Thompson and Tom Baum, who are 2 local comedians, and they had like a weird thing, or it almost turned into a fight or whatever. And so then this guy Michael Robertson suggested that they do this idea that's being done in, I think it's like San Diego area or maybe Orange County or whatever, and it's like comedians boxing. And Mike Robertson had already done a match. He had already had his, you know, his situation. He was, you know, coming back for the pay-per-view special or whatever he was trying to work, but he wanted to do that. And so nobody was taking his challenge, and then he accused the whole scene of being soft, which I felt no way. I was slept through. I didn't even get to really see that. But then he accused the whole scene of being soft, and Anthony, your new friend Anthony, wasn't having it, ladies and gentlemen. He was not on board with this, ladies and gentlemen. So pick it up, Anthony.
Yeah. So,
Pick it up, Anthony.
like you said, that you hit. Yeah. First of all, you told the story great. You remembered it well. It started with the Michael Robertson having a fight already, and he came back thinking he was a Logan Paul or Jake Paul.
Yeah,
you
he
know,
was ready.
where
He was ready. You could tell.
All of a sudden, we're all YouTube boxing celebrities. You know, that was kind of in his. He got motivated from his fight, I think.
Yeah.
And he wanted to throw his own event. And so, yeah, you said it right. He called everybody soft when nobody wanted to do it. And then that's when I chimed in on the post.
And you were his Huckleberry. You let him know you would be his Huckleberry.
It's weird. It's weird now talking about it because I feel stupid and I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't do it again. You know, I do regret it, but I'm just going to talk about it like I was there at the time and what happened. So yeah, he had posted that everybody was soft, and for some reason I had taken offense to that personally. I come from a different background than, I guess, you know, I figured everybody growing up.
You know, don't do the I come from a different background. Okay. What happened was that he doesn't like to tell you guys because he didn't want to tell you guys on the last one. But I think it's a cool thing. I think it's a good thing. When he was younger, he used to do like a Fight Club type thing in his garage. Like him and his stupid friends. Sorry, I don't know your friends, but you know what I mean?
Well, I figured that's what all stupid boys did growing up.
Some did. Like when I was young, I remember we did WWF, and we would really get down sometimes, you know, because some of the kids would be kind of rough. Mm-hmm. And so, like, that was our version of it. But, like, you know, what's it called? You guys would do, like, boxing, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we'd go play basketball, then we'd go play tackle football, and then we'd go to the garage and put the gloves on, you know.
Yeah.
And my dad was a former boxer, so I had always had I had all the equipment in the garage, so I always felt comfortable around boxing. I grew up around it, so it wasn't like fighting was so much a big deal to me going into all this. So I think that's where the confusion happened. Because now I'm realizing as a comedian that people don't all come from that background, you know?
Yeah.
Some people like to talk shit. And as a comedian, I have to be able to take people talking shit. And that was not my fight to be had. He called the entire scene soft. He didn't call me personally soft. So for me to take offense to that's like me taking offense to a heckler or something.
Yeah,
it's a
but
rookie
let me
move.
tell you guys what this looked like on the outside. Like, to me, I felt like, okay, like he's taking the match. Like, you're down. You know what I mean? And so it seemed almost sportsmanly.
So
that's the way it seemed. It seemed like somebody had presented a challenge. Somebody was down to meet the challenge, and so I went to sleep feeling good about the challenge. You know what I mean? Because I fell asleep, and then when I woke up, it had turned into this big, you know, situation.
That's exactly what it. When you went to sleep, it was just a sporting match, a boxing match.
Yeah.
You know, and I had agreed to fight Mike in a boxing match. And but then as the night went on, I just started to get more pissed because of who I am. You know, I started to let things, because fighting is not fun to me. You know, it's not necessarily like a promotional type of thing. It's not like a YouTube thing. I never had fun fighting. You know, it was always like we were going to war. And so I had a different perception going into it. And then honestly, Mike had messaged me throughout the night. He had messaged me his boxing video that he, you know, because he had taped his boxing video. He had beat one of his friends in a boxing match out in San Diego, like you said. And they're two palookas,
but beat is a very strong word, and that's not like me clowning or anything else. Like, you know, I wouldn't be out there boxing like that in the first place. So I respect him making the effort. I respect the other guy making the effort. But at the same time, it wasn't like they had a good boxing match, you know, just on a technical level. I watch a fair amount of combat sports, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you know, but I'm friends with Freddie Correa. They have UFC at their house all the time. I run with that kind of crowd, all right? So if you watch my stories every once in a while, I'm with Chris Doran. We're watching, it goes down in my when it comes to that. So anyway, and so I'm down. You know what I mean? But a beat is just a strong word. But I'm down to like watch the sport of it, and I thought that's what it was. But what was happening was he was texting you, basically trying to psych you out.
Yeah, and yes, he beat him, but the person that he beat, they clearly found somebody that he could beat, somebody that they could throw in there.
I can't even remember the way it really went down. And we watched it. You were here when I watched it. But it was kind of uneventful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so confusing because he tried to psych me out with the video.
Uh-huh.
But what in turn he did, because like you said, anybody that has ever watched a boxing match, you've watched boxing and UFC. Yeah. Anybody that turns on that video and watches Mike fight for a minute can see that he doesn't know how to fight, So
at this point, it sounds like you feel double insulted now, because now not only did he call you soft, like even though he didn't call you specifically soft, and believe me, we need to get that's not that's not a real thing. You know what I mean? But I see what you're saying, and I know how guys could think that way. So I'm saying, like, I get it, but then on the same time, you can't, like, let yourself actually think that's an acceptable thing to be mad at, because it is comedy, and also it could have been sport. And, like, the psyching you out part, I do get how you'd be, like, a little bit like, don't fucking waste my time. Like, you know what I mean? Let's just fight when we fight. Yeah. We already are supposed to set something up. It's a sport. Like, let's just fucking do what we're doing for now. So then he hit you up and sent you a couple text messages.
He sent me the video of the fight, and he said, "Have you seen this? I've fought before." And I watched the video, and this is where I'm a bully, because I watched the video, and I'm a bully because as soon as I watched it, I knew, okay, I don't even have to train for this. It would last 30 seconds. I'm gonna hit him one time. He's gonna go down, and it's gonna be over. Once I saw that video, I should have told him, you know what? I don't want to fight you anymore. It's just it's not worth it, because at that point I'm being a bully. I knew he had a different he got confused because he won a fight with his friend, and he got a big head, and he thought that he could go around challenging people.
Yeah.
I should have left that alone. But yeah, I saw the video.
You weren't here for it.
I became a bully,
and
I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna beat the shit out of this guy.
Yeah, because it had a very fuck you up vibe.
Well, okay, like you said, he had messaged me the video. Then he had messaged me and said, do you know that I've been in the Navy? You know, like being in the military is some sort of like, you can fight, type
but
of
also
thing.
You could think of it as he was trying to let you know you're disrespecting a vet.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he tried to cancel me, definitely.
Yeah,
eventually.
Well, yeah, you did. Yeah, it got messy, folks. It really spun out of control.
But yeah, at that point, he was messaging me and trying to intimidate me, and then that's when everybody woke up to me. That night we had got into it, and he was calling me at work, and I was messaging him. And by the time you had woken up, it was, I need Mike live at my house at 6 a.m. so I can beat his ass. Like that was my mentality.
Yeah. So had you guys just had like a would you say it was just like basically a testosterone bath?
For me, yeah, that's all anything growing up.
But like both of you guys, you know what I mean? Because you guys were both getting into it, because he was hitting you up, you were hitting him up, and then like, how did that go down? Like the succession of, because somebody called somebody a bunch of times first, and then was it responses in between, or was it like you got your phone and saw messages at once, or how did that even work? Were there messages? Was it? What was it?
There were a bunch of public comments that everybody saw.
Okay.
And then, and it was just like, we were threatening each other. Like, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to beat your ass. And then it went private and went private into the messages. And then that's when it got kind of weird, where he was kind of trying to backpedal and saying, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you picking on me? And to me, it was a mutual fight.
Would you say it was going down in the DMs?
It started to go down in the DMs.
Okay.
And that's when I got pissed. I'm like, okay, don't hide shit. It's going public again. So I brought it publicly again, and that's when, I said, stop messaging me, just show up at my house at 6 a.m. I gave him my address. This sounds so stupid because I'm 30-something years old. I just feel so stupid saying this.
Yeah, but then
uh,
you also, so you're ready for an impromptu. Just
so we
bring it over.
Yeah, so everything got accelerated. It's no longer a YouTube event. Come over to my house. We'll get it over with. That's when he started to get kind of scared, I think. And he started to call me and just kind of try to backpedal. And then it ended up being where it escalated from there. I don't know if you want to pick it up. That's when I said the insult.
What was happening from my end? Let me, because that's a good way to do it. So then we can piece our stories together, because it gives kind of because like I said, I was so out of it, because that's when my sleep schedule was pretty off. But I was pretty off because I woke up at 5 or 6 in the morning, and then me and you ended up messaging or something.
Yeah, we have the same schedule, so
yeah,
you were the first person that I talked to about it.
Yeah, and I think I sent you a text what happened, because I had seen it, because you saw it devolving on the comedy board. I had seen your guys's, that what you talked about, the argument that you guys had in comments, and I was like, okay, what did I miss, and then I ended up catching up with you, and then we were talking about it a bit, and so at that point though. Well, you didn't seem particularly mad at that point to me. At that point, you had already started for that round, because it went into rounds.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't turn into a boxing match, it did go into rounds.
Yeah. There's episodes to this.
Yeah, there could be. Yeah, there could be more than one, but I think we can get it out pretty good on this, in this hour. If I know me and getting unbothered, we'll be able to figure it out. But yeah, so it turned into a situation where you guys started, I felt like by the time I talked to you at around 6 a.m., you were pretty chill about the situation, even though you still felt like he had a lot of nerve. That part really didn't leave you, and still is kind of the way you see it in a lot of ways, right?
Once he backed out, then I was like, okay, I win. I'm a stupid, immature person, so I wanted to win. So as soon as he said no, he blocked me and he said, no, I don't want to fight you. Here's what happened. I called him at 6 a.m. on my friend's phone, on my friend Claire's phone.
Claire Howley, you'll end up meeting her on a future episode. Maybe we'll even get her side of this part.
Which pisses me off, too. It's why are you calling my friend? Because he didn't know that me and Claire hang out all the time. We were literally hanging out at 6 a.m. So he had blocked me from everything and was talking shit to Claire. Mm-hmm. Little did he know I was with Claire. So I said, Claire, give me your phone. And I called him on Claire's phone. And I said, and he answered. And I go, you thought this was Claire, didn't you, motherfucker? And he goes, what? And he's confused because he was expecting Claire. And I'm like, why do you think Claire would call you at 6 a.m.? And then I go, where the fuck are you? Where, and then he just hung up. I said, where the fuck? Because I was at my house. I'm like, where are you? Why aren't you at my house? And he hung up. And once he hung up, I said, okay, I'm done. He's a bitch. Claire saw that he was a bitch. I have a witness. I'm done. And that's when it was at 6 a.m. I was
okay, so and then at this point you thought it's done, whatever. And then when did you tell him tell your kids their dad's a bitch?
That was in the middle of the night when he kept calling me while I was at work. My phone was gonna die, so I just answered it. And
because from the outsider perspective, that just looked like when that happened, because I saw that happen, him mentioning that. But he didn't actually say that, which I didn't really like him doing it that way, and he knows I didn't like him doing that way, is because he made it sound to people
he had publicly posted, after he had blocked me, he had publicly posted about me saying that I was talking about his kids. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
that you had said something real disrespectful about his kids, and if anybody wanted to know what it was, hit him in direct message.
Yeah, which I never saw that, but
Yeah, and I thought that was not a good way to do it from his point. And like I said, he knows this, so it's not like. And nothing I'm saying is talking shit, because really I do like Michael Robertson. One day I'll tell you guys a story about when we were on the road together, and so I really do like him. But, I saw this from the outside, and I can see, like, just like I told Anthony that I thought he made a mistake in his perception of thinking that, that he was calling him soft or taking it personally. These are the things that I would say to Michael Robertson and have said to him, because we had a conversation backstage one night at LA Comedy Club, and I just let him know where I was at on it. I did think he handled things the wrong way because, it's like you said, it's cool if you want to set up a match or whatever, but the extra shit talking, not everybody's going to want to do that with you, especially like leading up. And I think he mistakenly got a little too, and maybe he just wanted to talk shit or like roast type thing. A lot of these people, see, like that's the thing with roasting, when everybody wants to roast each other. I always feel like, the tradition of roasting actually is that we only roast the ones that we love. So if I don't love you and you don't love me, we're not roasting. That's just talking shit.
yeah.
Don't fucking talk shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I will get tired of you. And like, but my thing is I just cut people off. When I think people are stupid, like, and I like, I used to engage people more or whatever, but now I just cut them off. And I would recommend that for you too. And if you see anything that like gets on your nerves like that, like somebody, you just have to remember that you're actually going to be doing some stuff in comedy, and I really do feel that way, and that's why I'm cool with you, and that's why I hang out with you, and, because I really do like your stand-up, and I, like, that's what impressed me about you, like, nothing else, and in the shittiest spots, when we were at what's the thrift store place? Rebar, or at Champagne's, or any of the places we've seen each other have been like shitty circumstances. And he always writes well, and he always like, has actual jokes, and it's, and I just realized my shot is off. God damn it. Anyway. You guys, okay, let me level with you guys just really quick and give you a quick break on what's going on with me. I was completely sober for over 100 days. Right now, I smoked a little bit of weed, but that's been happening for like 3 days now after the 100 days or whatever. And I'll count how many days it was, but it was well over the 90. So nobody tell me shit. I'm going to go on another 90-day no smoking, nothing, no smoking weed, nothing, because I want to. But, I also, like, wanted to make sure that I actually hate it. And I think in another 90 days, I'll take another couple of days and make sure that I really hate it again. And that's just the way this cycle will go. But, so...
Are you not having a good time right now?
Huh?
Are you not having a good time right now?
Oh, yeah, I'm having a very good time. But I'm just making sure everybody knows, because, like, my audience does know that I've been sober. So I also want to let them know. And right now, I'm being spacey. And also, like, also, the thing is, like, I try to be careful about how I talk about all this stuff, because I do like both of you guys a lot, and so I try to be aware of what I'm saying and not, and I also know that you're over it, like 100% over it, and it's not like a thing where you're trying to talk shit, so I don't want it to come off that way either, and so, I try to, think about things that way, because that's one of the things that I don't like that came from it. And I told Michael Robertson this too, like when you guys are in the DMs and then people are saying like, you might not get work if you hang out with this particular person or that kind of thing. Like you guys, nobody should be doing that, in my opinion, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, there was a lot of shitty things leading up to it, but like you said, I'm definitely 100% over it. And over any drama in the future. I really just want to write and do comedy, and I don't give a fuck about these people enough to really get into it with anybody like that. So
yeah, because they had a break, and the thing was, I wanted to have Anthony do this show with me. It was when I was doing Stupid Town for Gooch, Brandon Hahn. And Gooch has been my friend for a long time, and he mentioned that he wanted me to, I was in Colorado Springs, and Gooch hit me up and asked me if I wanted to headline Stupid Town, which is his show that happens on Friday nights at midnight. So I said yes, and I asked if Anthony could, what's it called?
Guesty.
Yeah, if Anthony could do a guest set. And so Gooch said absolutely not, or something that was very definite like that. You know what I mean? And then I talked to Gooch and I let him know that I like Anthony and, that I thought that he got a bad, because, Gooch wasn't in support of the way Anthony handled the Michael Robertson situation. And so I was trying to diffuse that because I know Anthony will actually treat it with respect and do what he's supposed to do. And I know Gooch is a good guy, and, we were all young once, so people sometimes get into it, it gets a little bit shitty sometimes. But we all know how that stuff goes. So, I told Anthony to go down and talk to Gooch because, I had talked to Gooch and smoothed it over kind of, and he was like, you know what, I will have him on. And there was a part of this that I really didn't appreciate, but then at the same time, I could understand the way that it went down. And so anyway, here's the long story short of it. I send Anthony over to go talk to Gooch. Anthony talks with Gooch. Gooch at a point wants to negotiate just a complete truce between Michael Robertson and Anthony. And so Gooch asked Anthony if he'd be open to shaking hands with Mike Robertson and just bearing it. And you were completely cool with that. But then when Gooch went to ask Michael, Michael said that he wasn't comfortable with that because something like
because I was talking about his kids. So
yeah, and then he told Gooch that you don't have kids, you wouldn't understand, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
which again makes it sound like it's more than, because what you actually said was, for the record,
it's what did I say? You don't tell when you tell your kids. Tell your kids daddy's a bitch. That's what I said.
Yeah, tell your kids daddy's a bitch.
Tell your kids daddy's a bitch. That's all I said.
Yeah, which is a real shit talk thing to say, but once you guys are in the realm of shit talking, it's shit talking. You know what I mean?
And also I'm smart enough to, or, I knew not to actually say anything about his kids. First of all, I wouldn't say anything about anybody's kids. I don't care about kids. I don't care about his kids.
Yeah.
And you know what? And if shit got too real, I would talk about his kids just to piss him off. I don't care. When we're talking about words and all that, I don't, that it kind of pissed me off that everybody got out of control with what was just said. Nothing actually happened. It was just said, and then he, it wasn't the right thing. He spun it to where it was something that was more dramatic than it was, but at the end of the day, yeah, like I didn't talk about his kids, but yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, well, I've talked about people's kids. You know what I mean? I'm not going to act like I haven't done that. I've done everything. I've fat-shamed. I've talked about kids. I've been racially insensitive. I've done everything. So I get it. Yeah, sometimes you just we're already at the point of talking shit and we're disrespecting each other, so let's disrespect each other.
I just wanted him to fight me at this, because I was so out of control at the time. I was like, what can I say that this dude's going to fight me?
And you guys had been going at it overnight, so it was a long time. You said your phone went dead.
Yeah, so that's why my phone had died, but I had got that line out before my phone died.
Yeah,
that was on the phone.
Yeah, but that's a lot of interaction for a phone to die.
Yeah. So, and it was just a lot of shit talking that was like, I just kept telling him, no, I just want to fight you. And he just kept talking and talking. And then that's when I said, tell your kids daddy's a bitch. And then he became very pissed off at that. But then, like you said, going back to the Gooch, he just used it. He just used it so weird.
Yeah, so he refused the handshake. And so what happened was, Anthony just has to accept that because he's not going to give a handshake. He's not going to give a handshake. There's no way you can force that. And then, 2 nights later...
The night after. Yeah,
was it the night after?
It was basically... No, it was the 2 days later.
Yeah, because it was Monday. Yeah. This happened Friday night, late night, where he refused the handshake. And then this was Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday,
yeah, because it was... 18 bin where it happened.
It was
right?
like the first mic back from the
Okay.
from the weekend shows.
Yeah. So they got what happened was Anthony thought he was going to be able to control himself. I think.
didn't expect Mike to necessarily be there because Mike doesn't go to a lot of mics.
Yeah.
So I've seen him at Mike maybe a handful of times in my 2 years of being here. So he was not in my mind at all.
Yeah.
And then he showed up to 18 bin, and I just didn't expect him to be there.
Yeah. And like he had one of those moments, and I had one of those moments myself, so I'm not gonna act like I don't understand. But he you at first didn't think you were gonna lose it, and then there was a point where you were like, Claire, I need you to record this. Like it was like at first you thought did you think you were just gonna be like nothing about it and not at all feel it? Then your anger built.
When I told Claire to record it, I wasn't expecting to go up there saying anything about Mike Live. I had forgot that I told Claire to record it.
Oh, so you thought you were just going to get your set recorded.
Yeah, I had told Claire to record it before he had got there. And I
Okay.
go, Claire, can you record my set tonight? And then he had got there, and then I forgot about Claire recording the set. And, yeah, I started to see red or whatever. And yeah, I started to boil basically, and I was not. I was gonna do my set, and I was not expecting to go up there and say anything about Mike.
Yeah, you thought you were going to control yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once you got on, you were like, no, this.
Well,
is
I didn't expect him to sit front row either. So, I don't know.
So did you feel like he was antagonizing you by sitting front row?
I felt like it was.
Did it have an antagonist? And he was with friends or a friend?
He was with Spiro.
Okay.
And they both knew the situation. I just felt like it was some sort of like you don't
mean girl move.
Yeah, why are you sitting front row? You know that this had just happened. Move the fuck back. Have some respect for. I don't know.
No, I can see what you're saying.
He can do whatever he wants. We're at an open mic, but it made me feel a certain type of way.
Yeah, like it's forcing an issue. I could see what you're saying.
Yeah, like he was so close that I would have heckled anybody sitting.
I could see how he wouldn't be thinking about that if he's just not thinking about it. But also, I can see what you're saying too. You know what I mean? Like, because I can see like it's also an awkward situation to have happen because, in a way, it's almost like he has to punk out to like. And I'm just talking from like outside. You know what I mean?
That's why it got so crazy, because I think that at a certain point he was like, oh shit, I either got to punk out or I got to fight this guy. And he was stuck in between of like, what do I do? While I was 100% just ready to fight, so he had no out. He either had to embarrass himself or he had to get into a fight.
But see, that's why I don't think he would have tried to punk you out on that one. I think it was an accident, or you know what I mean? Like maybe he just wasn't thinking about it, or he brain farted and didn't know how to handle it. Because sometimes if you're put in an awkward situation like that, you don't really know what the proper way is to handle that. You know what I mean? Because you're like, yeah, I can see how like he maybe like might have just really not known how to handle that at that point, like it not come from a malicious place.
I don't think he wasn't going to do anything. He wasn't threatening at all.
For sure, yeah.
At 18 bin, yeah, he wasn't trying to be funky at all. I don't think.
Yeah, I think.
But for me in that situation, I would have moved back if I was him.
Yeah.
If it was reversed, I would have not been front row at his set that night.
Yeah, and you were also pretty over it by that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like mad, like just like, yeah, fuck this. And so he got on, and he said all of us at the LA Comedy Club are hacks. He said every comedian at the LA Comedy Club is a fucking hack anyway. And do you want to know what comedian was headlining the 8 o'clock show all that week? Thank you very much. And I went to go eat with this asshole at the fucking Applebee's.
And I eagerly showed him the video.
Yeah, our neighborhood bar. Our neighborhood Applebee's. And he shows me this video, and it's him calling me a hack. And I thought it was so funny that everybody was so offended by that. And I'm like, you guys, I'm the one headlining. If anybody should be offended, it's me. What are you guys offended about? And I really did feel like a lot of people did overreact to that in a way, even though I know that like the comics get skittish. That's the
Right.
thing about comedians. They're very skittish, even though they'll puff out their chest and stuff like that. Somebody gets hit and everybody gets like, oh!
And that's the silver lining of this whole story. Thank goodness you were headlining, because I had said that and you were there to be like, wait, I'm headlining. He's not really talking shit on LA Comedy Club.
Yeah, well, we were laughing at Applebee's about it because I was like, I'm headlining. And then he also said Butch Bradley, which I'll put Butch Bradley's link for his video down in the, if anybody wants it, get the fucking, it's good. It's fun. And yeah, Butch Bradley, he mentioned Butch Bradley was the only comedian that wasn't a hack, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you say Butch Bradley?
Yeah, the only comedian worth anything at LA Comedy Club is Butch Bradley.
All right. Yeah. Come over to my house
But-
talking shit. We're in my apartment right now. I pay rent here, and I'm getting rent in my own place. Like, okay.
Here's where I should have never talked. It's obviously I should have never talked.
I
shit
mean,
about-
I agree Butch is good. I even said that. But, like, the only worth anything? That seems a little unfair. It seems
was-
a little unfair.
That's Spiro's fault, because if Mike was sitting with Spiro and they're both, LA Comedy Club openers, so I felt like that's the thing I should attack. Is
You've attacked a lot of people.
Is their
you,
club.
you came for a lot of us on that one.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of shrapnel.
Yeah, Jay Reed.
I threw a grenade and it landed where it landed.
Yeah, I did just kind of shit on people.
But yeah, if I just wish I never said anything about LA Comedy Club. Whatever. I just it's all regret at this point. But also, it's hey.
Well, that's where I feel like the other comics that are reacting to it negatively are being like you were when you took the soft comment. You know what I mean? Like,
do you
they're
mean?
intercepting that, and you don't have to intercept that because, like, you were just talking shit. Really, it meant nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You were just saying it to get under their skin because they both work LA Comedy Club. And you were just, so it was, I get it. I get it. But I don't think, like, anybody that's taking that seriously that's, a working comic should be taking that seriously because it's not, it either fits or it doesn't.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not looking to stop in Las Vegas doing comedy. I'm looking to go other places, figure it out on the road and everything. And I'm not worried, like you said, I'm not worried about the people that have like a negative opinion on it, because hey, we've all, guess what? I had a meltdown. I had egg on my face. I'm willing to admit it. I moved past it. And yeah, anybody that's trying to hold me back isn't really worth anything at this point. And even like, anybody, even
Yeah, and
Gooch
you
or
definitely
anything.
don't want to hold yourself back.
Right. I don't want to hold myself back from anybody, but also I'm not scared of anybody that has any negative opinion about it. It is what it was. If I wish Gooch, I wish we were cool, but it is what it is with that too. I'm not worried about anybody named Gooch or anybody else.
So, all right. No, that's enough.
Are we gonna have to cut that?
It's Brandon. And I'll have you know, Brandon is my very good friend. Long time,
I'm
years
sure-
and years.
I'm sure he's a great guy.
I know. Like,
But also, I'm not worried about anybody named.
yeah, but, well, you can't be. Like, that's the unfortunate thing about the way all this works. Is you can't be too worried about people because
Yeah.
it just doesn't work. That we're gonna fuck up. Like, that's why I don't ask my friends to take on my battles. You know what I mean? Like, I don't consider it a thing of loyalty at all if you're talking to somebody that I don't get along with.
No, me
You know what
neither.
I mean? Like, I'd prefer you not bring them over to me, but like, as far as like, oh, don't talk to him because we had this thing. You're going to have the people that you get along with in your path, and I'm going to have the people that I get along with in my path, and some of those are going to intersect, and some of them are not, and it's not like a thing. Like, me and Chris Storin are best friends. And we never have those kinds of situations, where I expect him not to talk to people. Talk to who you talk to. If they
Totally
don't fuck
agree.
you over. And so, like, I get what you're saying. Like, your experience with Gooch is one thing and my relationship is another. And so I get what you're saying when you're like, yeah, maybe somebody has opinions about me fucking up in a way, but that's just going to have to be their problem because it is what it is. And I'm not going to quit doing comedy.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, what's the other option?
Yeah, he's going to have to see my face. If he doesn't like my face, he's going to have to see it.
Yeah, and you can figure out how to be cool. And that's why I tell a lot of people, like, with the other working comics or the people that that are going to actually be in this for life or have a good chance of being in it for life, at some point you might as well just, even if you choose not to hang out with them, talk to them or whatever, you might as well bury it to the best that it can be buried and be cool with each other for as much as you can, because you're just going to be seeing each other forever.
And I have my hand reached out for Gooch, for Mike Light. Anybody that wants to shake my hand and get over it, my hand is reached out and ready to shake their hand. I'm moving past it. It's all about comedy, baby.
Yeah, no, I feel that same way with the people that I've gotten into it. Like I said, like I did the Bobby Wayne episode, or not episode, but, I mentioned it on the last episode, like what our interaction was after he finally saw me after however long.
Yeah.
And I didn't respect the way he handled it. But like, if he had like, put out his hand to shake hands at that point and was like, whatever, it was a misunderstanding between friends or whatever like that, then, I'd have been cool.
Yeah.
I definitely would have been. Or like, and he doesn't even have, or wouldn't even had to apologize. I wouldn't expect him to like bow down or anything, but just fucking be cool. Cause like, even if you think I fucked up, you have to accept that you fucked up too. And that's the way I feel with you and Mike's situation and, even the Gooch situation. Like, things just didn't get handled in the best way from any of the parties involved, in my opinion. And that's just the way I really feel about it from an outsider, from hearing you, from hearing them. Because I've talked to every single person involved with all of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I didn't feel like, because I know Gooch probably felt disrespected by you saying all the LA Comedy Club comics were hacks.
Yep.
I'm sure that's part of what bothered him. But he shouldn't feel bothered by that because, if it doesn't fit you, it doesn't fit you.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be mad.
Exactly, yeah. And I wasn't talking to Gooch.
I didn't
I wasn't talking to Gooch when I said I wasn't
at all.
talking
And
to
like I said, I was headlining the, I felt nothing about. I laughed. You saw me. I did fucking give you the clutch my pearls. Like, we're all hacks, and then we were just eating breadsticks and acting stupid, and I got it. I wasn't.
And here's another thing. Like, first of all, I want to be able to go freely anywhere I want to go in Vegas when it comes to comedy. I want to be able to go to LA Comedy Club. So for me stepping on their toes was the wrong move. And Mike Live, I want him to be able to go freely wherever he wants to go in comedy. So I don't want him to be intimidated by me or think that he can't go to a mic because of me. Please, it's a better world when we can all roam freely. So please forget about it and let's just move on.
I need your word. I need your word, Anthony. You can't see, because I wasn't mad, but I was a little disappointed when things ended up where they had, because I had the whole conversation with Gooch trying to smooth that over, and then this guy makes himself look like a fucking lunatic.
That I felt bad. I felt more regret about that than actually the fight situation was. That Ty had stood up for me and tried to give me a guest spot somewhere, and I kind of shitted on that the next night by talking about the club. And that was, again, it was just completely unrelated, but it was coincidence, and it all happened on one night, and I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was a little annoyed about that, but not at all mad and not anything, because I would have discussed it with you if I felt something, you know what I mean? I've been like, well, I didn't.
No, but I mean, I apologized to you a few times about
that.
Like, I do feel
and I know
it was not professional.
Yeah,
it was just not professional.
Yeah, and that's true, and that's why, and also because you just owned it right away. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something I had to bring to you. Like, you were like, look, I know that wasn't the most professional, or like, so it's not even a thing, you know, like for me at all. But at the same time, I would just like to make sure that you do learn your lessons from it, and like just continue to think about things the way you're thinking about them, and don't let anybody get in your head and try to be like, no, but you should be mad at him because of this. There's no reason for you at any point moving forward to feel anything negative towards him. Because like whatever his situation is, like, that it really was kind of a misunderstanding on both parts. Like he thought the challenge was fun, then he took it past the line, and you didn't think it was fun anymore, and then
I took it past the line.
Yeah, and then but there were definitely points where both of you guys kind of put down boundaries, and then the other one just mowed down the person's boundary and was like, well, now I'm gonna do this, and so it just escalated to the point that it did, and then but now like you are over it.
Yeah, I mean, now, like, coming into the episode, I was a little bit bothered.
Yeah.
But now, I feel very unbothered.
It'll happen. It'll happen. It gets unbothered around here because, once you talk about it and once you really think about it, then it's usually like, does it really matter? Is it worth holding up my entire comedy career over these little, like, not even battles that don't matter? Yeah, and I did so many of those when I was younger, like, you know what I mean, where I felt like they were beneficial in some ways at certain points, but then you learn to be more sparing with it because, like, a lot of it doesn't matter. And a lot of the people, and I'm not saying this about Mike, but just, like, a lot of the people that you'll find that you would get into it online with are people that aren't going to be doing comedy forever. And so you really, in a lot of cases, you end up letting them clutter your path. And it's like they're not even an issue. They're not going to be an issue. So they don't care if they clutter their path. Technically, you can be right. But they've made you look bad to a certain segment. And so now, in a way, they won because it'll slow you down. You know what I mean?
Which this did, it did slow me down for a couple months, I felt. At least in my head, it did.
Nah, it didn't. And it won't. And it really won't. Yeah. But, like, over time, you know what I mean? It's like anything else. If you got a good fire going, you throw a fucking stick in, nobody's going to fucking notice. But if you start to, like, put way too much shit in your fire, then it'll start to suffocate the flame a little bit, and it'll take a minute for you to get back. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't turn it into a regular thing, it's just a one-off, and that's it. Like, there's worse things you could have done.
That's what it's a one-off.
Yeah, and so just don't let it happen again. And like I said, I think you're funny. I think you're talented. I think you're a good writer. And I had Anthony help me and Chris Storin with the video that we did for Big Trouble in Little Atlanta.
In Little Atlanta?
Big Trouble in Little Atlanta was the name, what I named that video.
I thought it was Little America, no?
No, Little Atlanta. So it's like Big Trouble in Little China, but Big Trouble in Little Atlanta.
I know
Chris Storin, that's his stupidity. And then he designed the
Love You Long
posters.
Time. I remember now.
What was it? Robert Aaron, Love You Long Time. But yeah, so I think you'll be fine. I don't think you have anything to worry about, but just I'd be more aware in the future of what I'm doing and not get in my own way.
It was a lesson for me.
Yeah. So, okay, so if people want to get a hold of you, where should they go?
Just any social media platform, type in Anthony Victorson, and it should bring you to my profile.
Okay, and what platforms are you on? Your Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook?
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Okay.
Type in my name.
Which one are you most active on, would you say?
Twitter, but Twitter is like I just go wild and say whatever the fuck I want. So if you just want to see like random rants and you don't get offended by anything, follow me on Twitter.
So yeah, if you want to get a hold of Anthony Victorson, any one of those platforms. Twitter's where he's really hot. Facebook, he's there. Instagram, meh.
If you want to see a photo of me with a mic, then go to Facebook or Instagram. But if you want to see the crazy mind of a new comic.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you can be kind of nuts.
Yeah, well, when it's 3 a.m. and I can't sleep.
I know I'm nuts too on the fucking socials. I know I'm like a lot, but
That's why a warning with my Twitter. Follow me with the advisory.
Well, if they're paying attention to this podcast, they're ready for whatever.
Yeah.
They need the worst of you, you know, because like people have seen my.
The Twitter
opinions
is the
and
worst of
jokes,
me.
but yeah, so Twitter is specifically just search Anthony Victorson on Twitter and they'll get you.
Yeah, they should.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's where to find him, you guys. So anyway, and if Mike Live, you see, I never call him Mike Live, but you guys always say Mike Live, and now you got in my head with the Mike Live. If Mike Robertson wants to come on Unbothered, would like to come on Unbothered, I'm welcome to having you, Mike Robertson. I just don't know if you do podcast and if you like chatting about stuff like that or you feel that's personal or whatever. I don't know what anybody thinks about anything, you know? I really want to pretend that I get people, but I don't. You know, and that's a character flaw. That's something I'm learning to work around, if not work with, or however that naturally plays out. That's the way it's going to play out. I want you guys to know that Anthony's side, or where we're going to have the guest, is not completely the way it's going to look. We were just working on it a little bit today, and me and Chris Doran have other stuff going and like figuring out like better things for editing and sound, you know, everything. We're just figuring it out. So I appreciate you guys being patient with us, but you know, you just have to remind yourself every once in a while that life is what it is, and every once in a while you're going to get into it with people, and there's going to be shit, and I'm trying to wrap this up because really the point of it all is whatever you do, just stay unbothered.